Thank you, Chairperson of the NACCW, Mr. Elvin Gallant, the Deputy Chairperson of the NACCW, Ms. Fiona Balko-Bynes, the Director of the NACCW, Dr. Zeni Tabadu, the representative from Durban University of Technology, Dr. Fatima Tiwan, the Gauteng Provincial Department of Social Development, Ms. Mpumi Lutuli, the representative of the Child and Youth Care Center, Nolwabo Zilwa, the president of the International Federation of Educative Communities, Dr. Anna Skimet, and members of the organizing committee for this auspicious occasion. Allow me, Chairperson, to acknowledge the presence of all academics in attendance, the representatives and members of the SACSSP and the PBCYC, practitioners and policymakers, child and youth care workers, auxiliary child and youth care workers from all provinces and various practice settings, the leadership and members of the senior management band of the Department of Social Development at both national and provincial DSDs, the managers, social workers, and community development, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Importantly and last, allow me to acknowledge the presence of the Minister of Social Development. I know she was supposed to have joined and supposed to have opened this occasion. I'm sure she will be able to do so anytime soon. But we want to appreciate the Minister for the pivotal role that she continues to play within the sector. It is an esteemed honor and indeed an immense privilege for me to deliver a message of support at this auspicious gathering. I offer the Council's gratitude for you having extended an invitation to us to participate at this occasion, an occasion where critical issues that truly and hugely so impact on one of the critical cohorts of our practitioners and major role players in the delivery of social development services, specifically the child and youth care workers, are to be discussed. I bring you a warm and hearty greetings from the Executive Committee of the South African Council for Social Service Profession, the entire Council and the professional boards, and the Acting Registrar. As clearly indicated in your request, I am to briefly engage with you on the regulatory role of the SACSSP and the advancement of the professional development of the child and youth care work. I must say that noting the speakers on the program and encouraging the opening address, of course, to be made by the Minister of Social Development, this discussion on the advancement of the professional development of child and youth care workers and the furtherance of ongoing discussion on this rather important matter within the social service delivery agenda is a guaranteed achievement. Let me firstly start by thanking and of course commending the NACCW on the incredible work that it does in facilitating and ensuring the rendering of services aimed at bettering the lives of children and supporting them across the length and breadth of this country during their periods of desperation and need. I applaud you for committedly addressing problems faced by communities, children and families, especially those who are at the lowest levels of vulnerabilities, but also for your diligent service and for the immense contribution this organization is making in our society as the single professional association for the child and youth care workers in our country. Now, the overall remarkable work delivered by child and youth care workers alongside other social workers and community development practitioners deeply acknowledge. I recognize just how significant and challenging your job is and the difficult conditions under which most of you execute your duties daily. I also recognize the endless personal sacrifices that many of you continue to committedly make each day to help vulnerable families and children to access services within your mandate, as this is happening despite all the obstacles that you continue to face regarding recruiting and retaining human resources due to many times unbearable working environments, in the midst of which you still ensure that the services that you deliver are effective and of acceptable standard. Thank you, child and youth care workers, for your relentless, toiling, and wavering focus on the provision of services to infants, children, adolescents, both with normal and with special needs within the context of their family and community and the life space. Now, before I tackle the topic at hand, I would like to emphasize that there has been acknowledgement that government alone cannot address all challenges facing society without the involvement and participation of all sectors of society. Social services are therefore not the domain of the Department of Social Development only. These services are provided by a range of stakeholders, including government in all spheres, as well as most critical role players, which are of our non-governmental organizations. Now, if you remember, in 2001, the Minister Social Development changed the name of the department to Social Development to signify the shift from welfare to development. Now, ladies and gentlemen, historically, there was a welfarist approach to service delivery. With 1994 changes, there was a commitment and radical redirection of legal and policy frameworks to deal with existing and growing risks, the forever diversifying social ills, including high crime rates, HIV and AIDS, poverty, and high levels of unemployment and related challenges. Now, Chairperson, the delivery of social welfare services to the masses of our country remains a complex process. It is indeed extremely humbling to be addressing this audience, particularly because some of the people present here today have made immeasurable contribution towards turning of the tide towards the transformation of the social development services delivery system to enable the target groups to deal effectively with all social issues, such as psychological stress, chronic poverty, food insecurity, and other adverse social conditions, as I earlier articulated. Now, this approach definitely requires the enhancement of closer working relationship between all those striving for social justice and working together to achieve the common goal of non-nobles. I need to indicate that this is the first of my direct engagement with child and youth care worker sectors through NACCW since the Council Constitution on the 19th of August, 2022. But of course, in line with Section 2 of the Social Service Profession Act, as amended, which provides for the establishment of the South African Council for Social Service Professions as regulatory body. Allow me, Chairperson, to state that the South African Council for Social Service Profession, as a juristic person, serves as a governing structure of the regulatory body, delivering on its core mandate of regulation alongside Professional Board for Social Work and the Professional Board for Child and Youth Care, respectively. Now, the central focus of these boards, of course, remains the practicing of the professions of social work and child and youth care work, respectively, in aspects pertaining to registration, education and training, professional conduct, ethical behavior, and critically ensuring continuing professional development and fostering compliance with professional standards. I need to emphasize that in its responsibilities of ensuring that it holds the sector practitioners and employers of these practitioners accountable, the Council also serves as an overarching coordinating body to link the various occupational groups, their professional boards, and various committees. It also the decision-making and accounting mechanism of the SACSSP. It is responsible for the creation of an enabling environment that will allow the sector to grow, the different occupations to progress, develop, and have a platform for interactions and dialogue. And I want again to congratulate the NACCW for the groundwork done and for the space created, as it will enable the broadening of the engagements and drawing in the key players towards finding remarkable and lasting solutions to the many challenges that CYCC experience in ensuring that professional growth and development, which the Council encourages through the continued professional development policy. Now, additionally, and most importantly so, the structure maintains order and it clarifies roles and responsibility, but also delivers on the leading and overseeing role towards the sector and its effective management. I'm aware that I'm addressing those who are in know, but I deem it fit to remind this audience, specifically on our practitioners, to ongoingly familiarize ourselves with the regulatory frameworks and its related supporting policies to ensure that there's adherence to all prescriptions guiding your day-to-day work, for optimum compliance and ethical and professional conduct at all times. There's a growing concern on the heightened number of social service practitioners who find themselves having to go through disciplinary hearings due to non-compliance with policies, statutes and prescripts, and the management of such cases come at huge cost, and many at times lead to the removal of practitioners from the register of SACSSP. I want to encourage the NACSSW to continue with the good work that you are currently executing for your membership. I do want to emphasize the need and the importance of a collaborative and coordinated approach, as partnerships are more impactful than silo approaches. Now, let us work together with the Council and its structure, the DSD, the CETAs, the Labour Institutions of Higher Learning, and the ASASWE as well, the DPSA, various other sector structures, and those of the structures of the Council, specifically the Professional Board for Child and Youth Care, which is the substructure that represents your interests as practitioners within the CYC sectors, recommended by Council and established in collaboration with DSD Ministry and such recognized. As I close, let me also hasten to say, I want to emphasize the importance of understanding and ensuring a parametered but collaborative way of working, where all these structures plan jointly, but ensure delivery of their core mandates in a well-coordinated, but also collaborative way to ensure the realization of the broader goal of advancing the continued professional development and growth of CYC workers and addressing the many day-to-day challenges that they continue to experience. I will be failing in my duties, Chair, if I'm not to mention a few of the pertinent issues that have been brought to the attention of the Fifth Council for prioritized attention. The evident gaps in service delivery and accountability, demanding for the successful regulations of all the sector practitioners and ensuring that all practitioners are held accountable in respect of work they do, is extremely important for the Council and the boards and all the committees. We remain alert as executive of the Council, cognizant of the undesirable working conditions, challenges on education and training, delayed payments of stipends, and the inequality, as well as several other challenges from external front. From an internal perspective, important to note that the Council has prioritized facilitating improvements relating to the operations and governance of the SACSSP and its responsiveness and turnaround times, but also ensuring that there is compliance in terms of all matters relating to the registration of practitioners. Additionally, there are ongoing roadshows to ensure continued education and training of sector practitioners regarding the role of Council and the boards, as well as the registration compliance matters. This necessitates that the same professionals be constantly aware of the challenges faced by clients and communities and ensure that they keep abreast with the latest trends, demands for services, and ongoing improvements in terms of knowledge, skills, and competences to respond to the forever diversifying social ills. Additionally, I want to assure the NACCW that the doors of Council are open for continued engagements and on all matters of significance to the CYC sector. and the key structures responsible for the execution of the various roles should ensure that they occupy the spaces to allow each of full seemingly deliver on their mandate. Finally, Council is willing and committed to promoting liaison in a cooperation with the training institution in the field of training, both within the country and elsewhere, and to promote the standards of such training, having determined the minimum standards of such education and training of the affected practitioners practicing as a particular profession. Equally, with regard to the support and improvements of the CYC sector, it is a commitment of the Council to ensure that the CYC category of practitioners is covered in terms of the SACSSP guidelines for course of conduct, code of ethics and rules. And it is my utmost belief that our collective and ultimate vision is the quest to deliver quality social services to the broader population of South Africa, which is well aligned to our varied visions and mission as a collective of organizations gathered here this morning. To the practitioners, continue to be beacons of hope to the vulnerable groups that you serve. Serve diligently and committedly, and be an inspiration to both the young people whose lives you touch and whose path you cross, and remain focused. I thank you.